All right, here we are back on the latest installment of the Boneyard. Tonight we got the band On the Fly. We got Matt and Jamie from On the Fly.
Yeah.
How's it
Yes,
going, guys?
yes.
Hey, buddy. Good. Thanks for having us.
No problem.
Always appreciated to speak with you again.
Absolutely, absolutely. I've been excited about this one. I like having you on here, Matt. You're awesome to talk to. Jamie, it'd be good to get to know you here too. So why don't
Yeah,
we
for
start
sure.
off? Tell us about yourselves. Anyone who might not know you.
Well, you've already heard from me, so I'll let Jamie go first since he's
Uh,
been with this project since the beginning. So,
yeah. Well, we chatted just a few minutes ago about some basic stuff, but I'm Jamie Denor, a guitar player for On the Fly. On the Fly's been around for quite a while. We took a bit of a break there for about 7 years, believe it or not. Um,
Hmm.
and we've had a few different lineup changes over the years. And once we got her going again about a year and a half ago, we decided to really change things up. The old drummer is now the guitar player and singer. And we brought Matt aboard. And then we have Keith on bass. So it's basically a year and a half back together again with the new lineup. And we've been just focusing on playing shows, recording, just doing our thing, man.
yep. And by Keith, he means Keith Skozik from the Bloodshots, if you ever heard of them. So he's in both bands and doing great with us so far. So just so you know.
Hmm. So it's been a long standing band, a couple obviously lineup changes. Jamie, are you the one who kind of sources people in here? Or?
Yeah, I guess I'm the only one that's been from the beginning. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's me, man.
Awesome. So how did
Either
you
that's
how
a
did you
good
get?
thing or a bad thing, I guess. Depends how you look at it. It could be really
Right,
cool or
right.
it could be full asshole.
Uh,
Yeah, the only original member, either everyone else was a dick or you were a dick. Just depends on truth and circumstance, either or. So he's all right though.
I like to think it's a bit of both.
Okay.
well, I think with the lineup you got, you must be doing something right. What got you in touch with Matt to get Matt involved in the band?
That was
Well,
more.
Jared and I, we just kind of sat down and kind of figured out what we wanted to do. We tried getting our old singer back, and he didn't have the time for it. So it was just kind of me and Jared sitting here trying to figure out the real basics on how we want to restructure. And he's always had a guitar that he's kind of noodled around with at home. And he said, I've seen this guy on social media. He's all over social media. He's a drummer. Awesome drummer. Like, what do you think if I just reached out and just asked him if you wanted to come for a jam and just, worst case, you just have a cool jam, and best case, maybe it actually turns into something. And so he reached out to Matt. I think it was the next week. Matt came down. We had one practice here. By the end of the night, it's like, yep, this works. The
Yeah.
rest is history, man.
Yes, indeed.
Awesome.
Yeah, Jared just randomly reached out to me. Here's the funny thing. I was saying this yesterday on Metal Devastation Radio. Everyone that's been involved in the band, not in terms of like total tenure, but that I've known of, because Marcel Greenstreet from Unsilenced and the Home Crew was the bass player for a long time, and he was the bass player again originally when this first got started up again. I've been in the room
Yeah.
with pretty much everybody at different times. My first gig with Ashley Arsonist was at Goodwill, the Goodwill Social Club. Eternal Now, his old band, was also on the bill. So I was in the room with him. And then Goodwill Social Club a couple years later, um, Ashley Arsonist were doing a Social Distortion tribute. And both times, the first one and the second one, Bloodshots were on the bill because they do their Nirvana tribute. So I was in the room with Jared when he was in there, and Keith, who is still there. And then another time I happened to be at the Pyramid when On Silence was playing with X Engine X and the Murder Birds. I didn't see them, but obviously Marcel was there too. So I came across everybody at different times, and then all of a sudden I just met everyone at the right time last year in the same room. So
Hmm.
Just always crossing paths, right? That's how
yeah,
that's the
Yeah.
nice thing about our music community here in Manitoba. Like, if you all of a sudden start talking to a new musician you thought you didn't know, like, you come across all these, past events where you've either attended together and just didn't run into each other, or you played a show together and you just never like had a chance to really connect with that person, because sometimes there's a lot of chaos at shows. And it's
yeah,
interesting how we have all came across each other at different shows or events, or It's just goes towards our community. It's a great music community we have.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. What just kind of I had that coming up later, but let's just get right to that. Let's talk about Winnipeg for a minute. Obviously, Matt, you got Ash and the Arsonist, and you got On the Fly, but you're a busy guy. You're always out there. You look at your social media, tons of followers on that, and everyone knows who you are. I go to the tap house on some Thursday nights, and your name's come up a couple times just talking about drummers. You and Alex Simpson. Alex, of
Oh
course,
yeah.
he played
And
with
shout
us
out to
last
Alex.
Thursday.
He's
So
always following me for Pure Entry. Absolutely.
yeah, he's fantastic, and and one thing about him too, when I had Pure Entry on, we talked about just Winnipeg itself. That Pure Entry's social media has Pure Entry stuff, but it's got a ton of other bands
Yeah, they
always
do support
promoting.
that for sure. Play
Yeah.
the Ghost, Trevor Lux, that's another guy that does that. I mean, the more that you always want to promote yourself, but I mean, this is about elevating the entire community and the scene as a whole. So as much as you can do that in terms of just giving everyone else a platform and just sort of a boost up that deserves that recognition and respect, go ahead and do it. Like another way that I do it is through collabo season. Jamie's been on a couple episodes. A lot of people locally have been on a couple episodes, and people outside of Winnipeg as well. I just try to do what I can and just show that we got a great scene here, and with just proving with actions better than words, shall I say?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So On the Fly's music, there's just that went on Spotify, obviously got Higher on there, which was your latest release, I believe.
Yeah.
Great song, Riptide and Down to the Bone. So I did not look at how old those songs were, how recent they are. Where can people find your music?
Spotify, YouTube, well, pretty much any of the streaming platforms. I'm pretty sure they're up there. We actually got another one called Pages that's going to be coming out ideally this month. So that's another one. That's a fourth one that you can look for. Those songs have been released this year, but everything that we've released so far goes way back. But there are a couple that, maybe one or two that we've created freshly. So we'll just see what comes of that. But anything that you've heard so far goes back a while.
Yeah, so to kind of touch more on that, because On the Fly's been around as long as we have, and we've gone through multiple lineup changes. And obviously, when you go through a singer change, it's probably one of the strongest signals to give you a different kind of a feel for the music and a different kind of just the overall. And that couldn't be further from the truth for us, because our past singer, as opposed to what we're doing now for vocals, is really different. So what we kind of decided to do is take the older songs that we had that weren't recorded and kind of give them a fresh look, fresh sound, the new vocals. We rewrote a lot of the lyrics were rewritten. We changed the music up a little bit here and there. We just kind of gave it a fresh kind of sound. And so the songs that are on the main streaming platforms now are the ones that we recorded within the past year with the current lineup. We do have an EP with the older lineup that was done quite a few years ago, but I didn't feel like it made a lot of sense to re-record those songs. It's kind of better to move on with kind of, you get like 3 or 4 songs or 10 songs, whatever it may be, that's kind of in the vault. And you always thought one day, oh yeah, it'd be really cool to record those. We're kind of like cleaning house and like gathering those all up, giving a fresh sound, record them with the new lineup, the different vocals, and then from there writing new stuff as well. So we're kind of all over the place, but it's nice to be able to take some of those older songs that we wrote, like, I don't know, I think probably like 15, maybe even 20 years ago. So the ideas of some of these songs were written, and actually give them that fresh new sound with our current lineup. Down to the Bone is a perfect example. The main riff of that song was written about 15 years ago. There was never ever any lyrics or vocals put to it, and it was never officially recorded, with the exception of, I think, just some rough tracks. And so that was a song that's like, hey, we need some actual vocals and actual lyrics, and like, let's just take it and finish it off, sort of deal. So it's kind of nice to get to that point.
You see that board, if you look on the left side of his box right there, if you see that chalkboard, that is full full of songs, old songs we have, like set lists, covers, you know, everything written down there. We have a serious back catalog going on there.
Oh no, I gotta try to set this up again.
A little down.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's lots of songs.
So for someone, if I had someone say, "Hey, who's on the fly? What do they sound like?" What would you guys describe your sound if no one heard it and I said, you know, this is what they sound like. Now go listen to this song.
It's hard rock. It's hard rock with a bit of a range between a bluesier rock to a metal kind of a sound. When we released Down to the Bone, it was probably one of our heavier songs that we had. So it definitely, like the first song to come out, it gave us that persona of being a little bit of a heavier band, which, I mean, I love heavy music, but I also like, my favorite music is blues music, but I really like the energy of like the hard rock and the metal. So I've always had a tendency of, like, most of my craziest solos I play are out of a blues scale. Like, I love playing out of blues scales for 90% of my solos. And so it's kind of the way to explain it is hearing Down to the Bone and then our next song that's coming out, Pages. They're kind of like the two different ends of the spectrum, where Pages has more of that bluesier kind of groovy feel. And then Down to the Bone is just that heavy chug, drop D kind of hardness. And there's a little bit of a difference with the vocals too, because Jared sings the majority of the songs, but I also have, I think, 4 of them that I'm singing. So we have a little bit of difference with the vocals go on there as well.
Okay.
Excellent. Yeah, it's sort of Godsmackish a little bit, if that's fair to say. I mean,
yeah.
You know, that's one comparison I can just think of off rip, but I'm sure there's a number of influences over the years. Like, this band has been around since the turn of the millennium, pretty much. So there's a lot that factors in over time that well precedes my tenure coming in. So
awesome.
And many life changes.
Yeah.
So let's kind
of
let's bounce to your song Higher, as it is your latest one, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it came out right before you did Bankside.
Yeah, that was our aim, is to have it out right before Bankside, just as a promotional thing that we could do. And I think Down to the Bone was featured on River City Rocks and Power 97 that same week.
Oh yeah.
So that's 2 times the promotion right there.
Beauty.
So that's
awesome.
all good. And they still share our stuff, by the way, on Twitter and Threads and whatever. So
yeah, they get us tons of awesome support. 97.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely appreciate it.
So where do you typically record these songs?
Right
at his room, where you're seeing, right in his place. You see the room that he's in right there. We just record.
I'm a big fan of keeping things simple. As far as music, gear, tones, and the recording, we have a very simple, basic recording system. I don't have a bunch of fancy new thousands and thousands of dollars worth of gear. It's probably some of the most basic recording setup that you'd ever see. But I focus on the room and the equipment that we do have, the mics and the interface. And then from there we have our buddy Vince, who does all the editing for us. So we do all the raw recordings right here in our jam room. It's a jam room / party room / studio, you name it. If it happens here, man. I think we had a stripper on the stage there last month. Like
that was for Jared's bachelor party.
It happens here, man. This is the place. This is the place.
Yep.
So.
Amazing. He might be having another party next month, so if you want to come down, you're probably invited, sir.
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
So isn't it just kind of wild though how far it's come, where you can actually do some, like, a recording like that, and you know, you're talking about recording in that room, and I know that Matt, I know you were just out at doing your thing at Studio 23, which is that's phenomenal. But it's just crazy how far it's come, where you can record like that, and the recordings sound great though, right?
Yeah, and I record my drum tracks for Collabo Season at home, and I did 5 tracks Studio 23, and I also did 6 tracks right there in that room, and I just been kicking back on the easy street, just waiting for these guys to finish like this. I'm just like, anytime you want me to come in and make your lives harder and just give you more shit to do, just let me know. I will come in and do the rest of the tracks. But they're saying, no, we got to catch up. Hey, come on, don't do that. We gotta catch up.
Yeah, I built myself a really rough vocal booth, but it actually works really well. So like we can do everything from, I got isolation chambers for the cabinets. Like it's a pretty decent setup. We don't get any interference, no noise. It's nice and clear, raw recordings. So I mean, it's on my property. It's like for me, whenever I'm doing my recordings, the focus is trying to get the band in here to do their recordings as much as possible according to people's schedules. I'm pretty fortunate where, you know, I have an extra hour to kill one night. It's easy for me just to pop out here and just start plug in and start giving her. So I love the accessibility of that. And I mean, another thing is that I find is really nice is whenever you're in a studio and you're paying X amount of dollars per hour, it brings a certain amount of pressure with it. And sometimes that pressure kind of goes against the whole feel and vibe of the atmosphere you want to create something in. So it takes away from that pressure. You don't have to worry about being stressed out because like, oh shit, if I don't get this right, like it's going to cost us another X amount of dollars. Or even driving somewhere and booking everybody. Like it's definitely easier for people just to come here and just give her.
Yeah, he's his own boss and his own producer.
Yeah.
Excellent.
The boss and the producer can both be a dick sometimes, I've heard.
We both fight lots.
Yep.
So you talk about parties you might have there and stuff like that. Does On the Fly play during these?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we've had Spectre's been out there, On Silence been out there, Home Crew's been out there, Indigo's been out there. I think there might have been one other band I can't think of. There's been a lot of shindigs he's hosted. All kinds of stuff out there, man.
Yeah, the whole idea for just having a party is having a lineup of at least 3 bands to play, so it's set up like a bar. And I got a pretty decent sound system where it fills up pretty good. I have a full back line. Like it's easy for people just to come here and bring all their shit, right? Like it's all there.
Oh, cool.
And the other perk is too, he's out in the bush, so you can go as long as you want. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I saw that. I checked out the socials just to see what's going on. I kind of figured you lived outside there, so.
Yeah, it's nice. I live on some acreage, and it's nice. I got a full security system, so you get that bit of a peace of mind when you have something set up like this. So it's
sure.
definitely comforting.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of playing live, talk about some of your shows. You just played Bulldog not too long ago.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you guys have anything else lined up?
At the moment, not really. I mean, we're probably going to be focusing more on just finishing recording and other stuff. We have something at the Enola Bar that might be coming up. There's some stuff in the works. But yeah, I mean, it's been fun over the summer. We played Bankside, we played Minnedosa, Bulldog for the Exile on Time release. You know, we definitely had our fun this summer.
And like Matt said, like the rest of the band, like Matt was very, I mean, not to like stroke your ego or nothing, man, but you're an awesome drummer. So this is what we did. We said, okay, let's record like a bank of songs. So we did, I think, 5 or 6 songs. And I said, Matt, come in here and we'll do these songs and we'll just see how many we can get done in one night. Well, he recorded 6 songs perfect in one night. I think we did it in like under 3 hours from setup to finish. Like it was amazing to see this happen. So now the rest of the band has to record all their parts. So we're trying to release a song about every 2 months or so.
Yeah.
And so we're very much... because of the shows that we have been playing this summer, it's been a fantastic summer. Like we got to play some really cool shows with some awesome bands. But it kind of takes away from that time for the rest of the band to catch up where Matt was with the drums. So we kind of like, we're coming to the end of summer here. We kind of want to refocus and push a little bit harder and put a little more of the focus on getting those tracks all caught up, because honestly, we have another bank of songs to do. So I think right now we probably have, I don't know, like another 8 songs to record. And
8?
I mean, if
plus the ones we haven't got to yet, or I haven't got to.
Yeah, like if we were, put it this way, we can write a song in one night. Like it's not that hard. It's not that difficult. We've done it, and I've done it in all my bands in the past. Like, it's just always seems to be such a natural thing to do. And so we haven't done that a lot because we've been focusing recording some of the older things and with the shows that we've been playing. So it's kind of nice to regroup, and now going into the fall, kind of that's the new focus.
Sure.
Awesome. Well, it's obviously good to hear. Glad to know you guys got a bunch in the back pocket here too.
Yeah.
Looking forward to hearing some stuff. With a live show, an on the fly live show. Obviously, you just said you play Bankside. Then there was an EP release with what was the band at Bulldog?
Exile in Time.
Exile in Time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Played Minnedosa. Like, those are some good stages to play. What would someone expect going to on the fly show?
Well, it's very energetic. I mean, I think that's really the main thing, is that we really just try to bring as much energy and just own the venue as much as we can. I mean, one part of it is also just the aesthetics, the overall, like, you see, you got them big ass, like Marcel would bring the fridge. He had the big ass Marshalls and shit. You're gonna bring in whatever you got. You can't do no like going 412 shit. You got to go big or go home. You know what I mean? So it's the visuals of it. Even if it's at a spot like Tap House, you make the most of that stage. I can remember a show that we did with Spectre and a bunch of people a year ago, and Pure Entry was on that bill too. So yeah, and then it was still in September where the patios were still open. Both Dr. Doug and Jamie here, they were just running around the venue, onto the street. You can do that when you got wireless. I mean, I don't have that luxury. I got to sit right where I'm at. But I just try to bring as much hammer action as
the goal is to drop dead of exhaustion by the end of the show. That's the goal.
Yeah.
True, right?
Well, I kind of felt that way the last time we played the Tap House, because I drove to North Dakota for a day trip that same day, came back, and we played that fucking show, and I was just wiped at the end of it, but I still made it work. So
what made you think of doing a road trip? That I remember that video that you had.
Yeah,
what made you think of doing a road trip that day before you played?
I mean, I could have done that weeks before. I was planning to do it. Like, when we went to Bankside, that's down in Latelia. I'm like, you know what? I'm damn near down by the border on 75. I haven't been to the States in years. Let me go again. But then we played Minnedosa the next weekend, and that's when my car crapped out that way. And it was like the worst garage ever that I took this place to, but it was the closest one. They got crackheads on staff. They're just totally incompetent. I still don't have the thing back. I just went and got a new Tiguan. So basically, it was just, I'm $2,000 out for nothing. But let me digress. I was waiting for my car to be ready week after week after week. Nothing. And then I had to rent a car. Well, one was for August 10th. Jared was getting married that day. And then I also had an Arsonist gig at the Tap House that same day. And then, so that was one. And then what was it? I had that on the fly gig on the August 24th. And since it's Enterprise, you can take a car into the States. I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and do it. So
it's good thing the guy's got a lot of energy.
It was really the only point, because after that, I was just like, I want to do this before September comes up. So let me just go ahead and do this. I did it the same day. Because the other alternative was, okay, Friday, but I have to take a day off work. I'm trying not to piss off the boss here. Unlike him, his boss may be a dick, but he just lets him have the flexibility whenever he wants. I'll get to that point sometime.
Jamie, you say good thing he has lots of energy. You know what, Matt?
Yeah.
I've been, from when you were on last time, I was told by a lot of people, they're like, you got to get that guy back on. He's awesome to have on there. Yeah. So I think you may turn into that one guest that we have on here where it's like, hey, we got no one this weekend. Let's just call Matt and get him on. Let's chat with him.
Well, guess what? So if you've been keeping up, if you've been seeing, you might remember I made a post about this a year ago, describing it as much as I can. And because I'm on gag order to describe any more details or disclose anything past that point, all I can show is the gradual evolution of this huge drum kit in this space. So I don't know if you remember the band Moontan, right?
Yeah.
Remember those guys?
They were like Rush almost, weren't they?
Brady Mitchell and Adrian Dyer. We are putting
They're
together.
awesome band, awesome guys.
A Rush tribute band. It is just about ready to be launched. We pretty much got all the songs ready to go. Like, we're really getting the specifics together. Ideally, by the end of the month, or maybe like early October or something, we'll be announcing it publicly, and we will also be announcing the inaugural show. Some people know the date, but I'm not going to say it here. I'll wait for that rollout to come out. But when that happens, I'm gonna see when we have that public. I'm gonna see how many people I can contact to get on to just do some press about it, and you will be one of those outlets.
Awesome.
We're
Love
there.
to do that. That's
All
I'm
amazing.
looking forward to seeing it, man. I can't wait.
For sure. No,
Yeah.
that's great.
Well, we might
Uh,
still use your space as a rehearsal space, although the pyramid was
Absolutely.
also offered to us.
I'll officially offer it right now. If there's anybody watching, hopefully there's lots of people watching. I will
it'll get up
officially
there.
allow you guys to jam here, no problem.
Okay.
There you
Well,
go.
let's be specific. He's talking about me, Brady, and Adrian. That doesn't mean all you people out there.
Oh yeah,
It doesn't mean everybody.
yeah.
That's great. Jamie, just to kind of bounce to you, as I've talked to Matt about this in the past, who are some influences in your writing or just your playing in general?
Oh geez. Influences? Oh, I'd say musically as a band, I would say AC/DC to Megadeth to Sepultura to Annihilator, any kind of blues music. I learned how to play music through classical guitar. So my first guitar I ever touched was a classical guitar, and I played that for 3 years before I even touched an electric. I'm a huge fan of classical music. But like I started taking lessons when I was 13, so by the time you get into like the 15, 16 age, like you're looking to get a little more aggressive and into more heavier stuff. I was anyway. So I've always enjoyed the heavier types of music. But I've always stuck to my roots, like a blues type of a feel and blues scales. And then I really love classical music. So if there's ever a time where I'm writing a solo and I can sneak in like a little lick that has like that classical feel to it, I will for sure. Like I love it.
With that being said, just
Oh,
about
a second.
classical and all good.
Oh,
He's still there.
got your forehead.
Fucking... I was just trying to play some whole other shit, and that went off. My bad.
Jamie, just with you talking about classical music and into harder stuff too, is one name that came to mind. I'm not sure if it's one of them, but Randy Rhoads.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to single out any one musician. Like I'd have to say I've taken something from every guitar player I've ever heard. Like from guitar players like Steve Vai and Joe Satriani to like just all over the whole spectrum. I've always played pieces. I've always tried copying little pieces to kind of get the gist of what they're doing and the feel of what they're doing. But I've tried to never allow myself to get too comfortable and complacent with one guitar, like kind of sound, or it's kind of a tough thing to describe, but I try to keep the blues roots with as much heaviness as I can in what I'm writing. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Obviously Matt has some stuff going on with Ash and the Arsonist, and of course the collab season, those are awesome. The one you did with Kevin Hogg was just nuts.
Oh yeah, that one. And we're gonna be doing another one. Last time I talked to him, he said, "You want to do another one?" That was in June, so we're gonna work that out. And I just did an interview about the collabo season with Brandon Howell, my guy in West Virginia, and then Rusty as well, who Jamie knows, I know, and so she's great as well. It was a fun interview, so definitely go check that out on Metal Devastation Radio. We just did that interview last night. It should be up. I don't know when it's going to be up, but probably soon. So that's continuing. I had to take a little break for some other stuff, but we're back in business and trying to get a few more out before the end of the year. And Ash and the Arsonist, of course, EP number 2 was underway. My drum tracks are done, and now I'm in the same place I was with these guys, just kicking back in Easy Street and just seeing when everyone's going to catch up. Basically, I'll be out there when I can, because it's a bit of a distance to get to Studio 23, but I'll try to be there for as much creative input as I can.
Absolutely, yeah. And
with Matt's collab his whole collab thing that he's doing with musicians, I find that it's a very unique, beneficial experience for musicians to be able to do with not only just local musicians that you don't know, you've never played with, but like people all across the world.
Yeah.
Anywhere else that he's had
First one
musicians
that we
play.
did, we had a singer from Spain.
Yeah, like it's really cool to be, if you ever ran into another musician that you did a collab with, it's like, man, I've never really jammed with you, but we wrote a song together. Like it's a rare experience. You don't get to do that with a lot of music programs the way they're set up nowadays. So it's a really unique experience to be able to do one of those collabs with them. So
awesome.
kudos to you, buddy. Yeah.
Jamie,
Anybody
do you have
watching
anything?
who want to volunteer, just contact me. That's all.
Awesome. Yeah, no, they're just super cool to see. Jamie, do you have anything else on the go besides On the Fly?
No, I was with Unsilenced last year for about 6 months. But I've never really done second projects. There's a little bit of this, like there's opportunities always that seem to be popping up. When I was with Unsilenced last year, it was the first time in my life I've ever played in 2 bands. So I've always just kind of focused on the one, but it's time related. So it's not to say it's something I don't want to do. It's something has to be able to complement your schedule. And I run my own business. I'm in a band. I do work on the side in film. I do a lot of different things, and everything I do to have a good time. And if I could be in 5 bands right now, but if I wasn't having a good time doing it, I wouldn't be able to continue. So it's not to say that I wouldn't be part of a second project. Because I love music. If I could play music every day, obviously I would. Like most musicians would say that. And if to play in multiple bands at the same time, it gives you a different opportunity to have that musical release somewhere, whether it's playing a different instrument or just playing different music, or just being around different people. So it's not to say it's something I would never do again, but right now, no.
Oh, well,
last year I was really in 5 bands for a minute. On the Fly, Twain Bomb, Ashley Arsonist, Boisterous, and the Rush Project. Although they had varying levels of activity, I was in 5 bands.
Yeah.
Technically. At one point.
It counts. It counts.
Yeah, it does count, indeed. Got
For
3
sure.
right now,
So how about with On the Fly? How about some merch? What do you have to do to get some On the Fly merch? I have seen some shirts out there.
We have shirts. As far as hats and beanies, we haven't got to that yet, but I mean, we're just putting all the show money towards recordings right now. So if we got anything spare kicking around, then we'll get around to re-upping on merch. But yeah, just DM us and we'll get something to you. Just name your size, address, whatever. We'll shoot something to you, and whenever we see you next, that'll be it.
Perfect. Love it. I'll hit you guys up for a shirt soon.
Sure, man.
So, we kind of talked about On the Fly and what's up. Obviously, you guys got a bunch of songs coming up that have been recorded. And Matt's all done his stuff. What is coming up next for On the Fly? What's the future of On the Fly look like to you?
Well, honestly, we need to be able to have fun at what we do. So the future we guarantee you that the future will be us having fun on stage, giving you as much energy, as much of ourselves as we can. That's a guarantee. Second to that, we want to be continuously recording. And because we have a very, the system that we have it couldn't be more perfect for that. So future will be continuous recording. Again, our goal is kind of like a song every 2 months. And then other than that,
whatever we need some more money, we go book a show.
More merch, more shows. I really like playing the festivals and the outside shows. Like when we played Minnedosa and Bankside, It's got such a unique feel to them. Second to that, like we've been every time we get together, we talk about all the different aspects. Okay, where should we go for a weekend road trip somewhere to squeeze in as many shows as possible, east or west, and of each one, where do we go? Where for a week? Like we're constantly discussing those things. So, like we could be going out on the road for a week in a month or 6 months. It'll happen. It's just a matter of us working out those details and amongst everything else.
Yeah.
Awesome. Any last words for you guys as we wrap it up here?
Yeah, this is what I really meant to play earlier. When he was talking all that classical guitar, all that type of
Wow.
stuff.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah, all I gotta say
on
is
the
thanks for
fly.
having us, man.
Yeah, on the fly. Here's where you can catch us on social media. Let me do my thing as I always do.
Mhm.
So if you type in on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, not on Twitch, on Threads, on TikTok, on Twitter, On the Fly Winnipeg, On the Fly WPG. If you type that handle in, it will come up universally. You will find everything that we're doing at any given moment, as much as I can update it and whatnot. That's what's going on, and what's going on is what was just described, man. It's just going to be more tunes and whatever else comes up. So thank you
Excellent.
very much for having us on. It's been a blast.
Absolutely, Jamie. Nice getting to know you. We'll have to.
Yeah,
we
sure,
could
buddy.
probably do a show. We could probably do a show on your guitars alone, right?
Oh, for sure, man.
Don't
On my
entice them.
gear, I'll talk for days about gear, man. I loved gear.
Yeah. You know what? I've been Joe Carson message.
Yes.
Oh, Joe Carson, National Arsonist. He said to me once that we could do a show on gear, and I said, you know what? It would be almost something to get a bunch of different people on at the same time and just.
Oh my God, I need to be
Here's
there.
what you
I
can
love
do.
talking with Joe about gear.
Yeah.
Here's what you can do.
Yeah.
Do you remember in March when Joe and Jamie and Ronnie Ladbrook, they did guitar night? You remember that show? Get all three of us on. Well, not me. Get all three of them on here at the same time.
Yeah.
Let's have ourselves a guitar show. A big
Yeah,
ass ring up there.
Joe and Ronnie and I.
For sure.
And
You know,
he's just
cool.
taking it easy right now, so it's perfect if you want to reach
Yeah.
out to him. So
I talked to Ronnie. Last week, I think it was. I told him I'd love to have him on here one time to just talk music, and he's done a lot, and he said he's kind of stepped away from it, and I get it, but yeah, no, I keep thinking about the gear night, and now I got some more people to have on gear night. I think it'd be a lot
Oh
of fun.
man, I
so-
need to be in on that.
oh yeah, well,
For sure.
he was going ham with the Holly Davidson band, and he just let that go. So I understand
Yeah.
he just needs to take his foot off the gas for a little while, but he's not letting go of the music. He's just like, okay, I just need to recharge the batteries. That's what he told me, and
For
it's
sure.
totally understandable. Because just like Jamie said, if I'm not I can do all this stuff. If I'm not enjoying myself, it's time to take a step back for a second and then come back.
Yeah.
That's where
It's
he's
important, man.
at. Whatever. It's
Gotcha. Exactly right.
You got to be right for it.
For sure. Well, Jamie, I'll have you back on in one form or another, whether it's back on with On the Fly or on a gear thing. Matt,
Yeah.
I'll have you back with your Rush tribute, and
Yep.
I'd love to have you guys back on with Arsonist as well when you get that train rolling there. Excited to hear that, and excited to hear more On the Fly pages coming up soon. So
Hey, just coming soon.
love it. Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for the chat tonight. I said we'd probably go
Perfect.
half hour. We went 38 minutes. That's perfect.
Perfect.
I love it.
All right, buddy.